It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is brand new Trauma. That's right. Trauma is back, believe it or not, after a few years. And they are back with a brand new CD called Rapture and Wrath. And that is the leadoff track from that, Heart of Stone. And on the phone with us, we've got the Heart of Trauma, Mr. Hillier. Donnie, how are you?
Doing great, Neil. Thanks a lot, and thank you for having me back on the show. And I want to say hi to all the listeners of the Classic Metal Show.
Perfect. Well, Donnie, we were just chatting there just before I brought you on, and this new Trauma record is kick-ass, man. It's a very old school. It's almost like a throwback record, you know. It's just very traditional in the way that it sounds, and I'm really digging. I think what I like the most about this new release is the production. It's just very big. That's the only way that I can describe it.
Well, great. I'm glad you like it a lot. It's definitely a throwback sound, and it's I'm glad you think the production is big. It really wasn't planned to be that way. It's kind of basic instrumentation and tracking, but the mastering job was really well done by one of the really better studios in Germany, and they really took pains to bring out the best they could in the mix.
Sure, absolutely. Well, that's interesting in itself that you went outside of the States to have your new disc mastered, and so tell us a little bit about that, Donnie. How did you come to the thought process that you wanted a studio in Germany to do the mix on this?
Well, it wasn't really our decision. We signed with a German label, Pure Steel Records, that is very much into the classic power metal sound. Most of their acts are European, and they wanted to take a crack at the mastering. And so they actually made a couple of passes on it, and they went to a company, Q Sound Studios, that they thought was one of the best. Maybe it's arguable the best. I just don't know. Mastering studio in Germany, and they were really happy with the results.
Sure. Well, you can definitely tell that they kind of knew what they were doing over there. That's for sure, because it gives the dynamic of this new CD just the punch it needs to bring out your vocals. I noticed that your vocals are very clean on this, very crystal. You've been described as kind of a cross between Bruce Dickinson and Jeff Tate. You definitely have that Jeff Tate old school sound to you, but it definitely has given your vocals a very, I don't know, it brings the vocals out to the forefront, and you're not buried in the mix at all.
That's true, yeah. There's some real balance in that mix, and yeah, I think they did a really good job with the final product.
Sure. Well, Donnie, tell us a little bit about the lineup of Trauma. Who are you playing with?
Okay. Well, right now the lineup consists of the drummer from the Scratch and Scream days, and that's Chris Gustafson, and myself, and we were really the force behind coming up with the new Trauma. It's not completely a reunion because there are new members, and then on guitar we have Kurt Fry, who's a veteran of live recording. He's just songwriting. Kurt Fry goes back to the 80s with me in a band, and also to the 90s with Chris in a band. So it kind of made sense that when Chris and I were both available to do this at the same time, we needed a guitarist, and Kurt was really one of the first people we thought of. And then we had attempted to have Lucas Advincula from the Scratch and Scream lineup on this album, and we'd gone through a couple of rounds of getting him in, but he just had other priorities in life, young family and other things that he needed to do. So we had the bass player on this album is a man named Marcel Eaton from Northern California, and played in a death metal band. Unfortunately, things didn't work out for Marcel in that we had to go to Germany. I'd say had to. We wanted to go to Germany last summer to play a couple of shows over there, and Marcel had passport problems. So we brought in Steve Rebello, who, for bass guitar, Steve is also a longtime friend, especially of Kurt's. They played in bands together, and he was one of the guitarists in Dublin Death Patrol, and also plays bass. So Steve is now part of the lineup, but he's moving back to guitar, and we're now auditioning bass players. Reason for that being, Neely, is we wrote a lot of the songs for Rapture and Wrath with one guitarist in the band, and we really want to go back to our two-guitar sound.
Right.
And so it just makes sense for us to go back to that format.
Sure. And it gives, again, it gives the production and the songs a much fuller range and fuller sound. You won't sound thin at all. And the aggressive style of metal that you do, does require, a twin guitar attack, as it were, to use a cliche term in metal. But the music that you guys do definitely benefits from that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. We're pretty excited about having that sound again. That was our original intention, because Steve came into the band a couple of years ago as another guitarist, but he also had to drop out due to a business that he was putting together, and it just occupied all of his time to do that. And so he came back a year ago and held down the bass, as I say, but now it's time for him to go back to guitar.
Sure.
And there is a difference in the songwriting, really, when you're thinking about playing live, between writing songs for one guitar and two. And of course, you can record in the studio and do all that tracking with one guitar, but it just makes more sense, as you say, for us to have that format and that sound.
Absolutely. Well, Donnie, since you resurrected the name Trauma again, the band Trauma again, what kind of feedback have you gotten from, say, promoters or people who, maybe solicited you to play some festivals or some live shows? Because, we know here in the States it's tough for power metal bands to, get some kind of a tour. But over in Europe and Germany, fortunately, it's very popular over there still. So what kind of offers have you gotten? Has there been an interest in the band Trauma since bringing it back?
We're trying to build the interest. We were brought over there for our first European dates last July. We played the HOA Headbangers Festival in Brandenhornerkirchen, Germany. It's outside of Hamburg. And then we did a show in Hamburg the next night. That was the one thing we've done in Europe so far. And right now, we do have a European booking agency, but we're still, trying to build the interest. The new album has been out for almost 3 months now. A lot of reviews, very good reviews. We got some great reviews off of our HOA festival last summer. But, we had been gone for 30 years, and so it's kind of a unique situation. We're needing to show everybody that our intention is to be back, and we can go out and play live and put on a strong show. And so, to be truthful, we're trying to build that interest now.
Right, absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about the artwork on this new release. It's almost got that whole gothic thing going on, with the wizards and the lightning and the skulls and just all the stuff that great metal is made of.
Right. Well, that was designed. All that artwork is original, and it's by an artist that works with, if not for, Pure Steel Records, and his name is Marcus Desper, and we hadn't met him, but communicated with him through emails, and his first pass at this was the person in the foreground with the hands upstretched was actually a monk, and with the monk's robes and all that. And that was a little more religious than we wanted it to be. So he came in with more of a headbanger type non-religious figure there. But we really like the artwork. It's pretty apocalyptic, and it does capture the rapture and wrath of it.
Sure, absolutely. I think if he were alive today, I think that would make Dio proud.
Oh, well, that would be great to make Dio proud.
Absolutely. Well, Donnie, tell us a little bit about this record. What stands out about it for you, and tell us a little bit about the writing process that you went through to create the music here.
Sure. Well, it's kind of an eclectic batch of songs. There wasn't a lot of discussion about what sound we were going to have. The sound makes sense to us because Kurt Fry has a distinctive guitar sound, and we kind of knew what that would be like, and Chris and I are real familiar with each other. But so the songs are kind of different from each other. I mean, The Long Way Home is very different from any of the other songs on the album. The Walking Dead is very different from other songs. So, the process was really pretty much Kurt bringing ideas to the band, and in some cases they were fully arranged songs, and then I would write the lyrics. And in some cases he had most of the song together, and the band would all contribute their parts, and I would write the lyrics. And so it was pretty much that way. Mostly the music was written by Kurt, and all the lyrics were written by me. And as I say, each band member contributed what they do best.
Sure.
And so that's how those songs came together. There were other songs written that weren't recorded for the album. We took what we liked best, and I think we kind of enjoyed the fact that there was no cookie cutter kind of sound to it. That, like I said, the songs are kind of an eclectic collection, and we kind of enjoyed that for that album. And we're already writing songs for the next album, but I think that will be more, as I said, it'll be more two guitar, faster tempo, even heavier songs, and more the thrash metal sound that we were known for.
Right, absolutely. Well, you mentioned the song The Long Way Home. Listening to that, it kind of reminded me of a mix between like Metal Church, Watch the Children Pray, and Queensryche, Take Hold the Flame.
Okay. All right, yeah. We kind of felt there was some Zeppelin to it.
Sure, that as well. But the guitar tone at the beginning, since it kind of starts off slow, kind of reminded me of that Metal Church, kind of that vibe a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's a good interpretation, and that's one of the beauties of it is different people hear different things. It was kind of definitely a blues approach, heavy metal blues, if you will.
Right.
And that's what we liked about the song. It was very different from everything else that we've done.
Sure, absolutely. Well, you've got a good product here, Donnie. It's a nice comeback record. I mean, obviously you re-released the Scratch and Scream a couple years ago, and this is all brand new original material. And it's how does it feel to be back in the saddle again? Creating new music and going out there playing it, and 30 years is a long time to be away.
It is. One of the reasons why it lasted 30 years was everybody in the present lineup, and especially Chris and myself, former members of the band, had all really moved some distance from each other, and we were, all involved in other musical projects. Chris especially had a lot of success with different bands, was very busy touring, recording, spent time in Europe with a band, and so time passed quickly. But to answer your question, it feels great to be back in Trauma. It's really, it was really my first band, and I always wanted to see this band back together again. Our first stint was more short-lived than I wish it had been. But about a year after the Scratch and Scream album came out, members of the band started moving out of the area, and it became kind of tough to keep the lineup together, because people's intentions are to come home for rehearsals, gigs, things like that. But time has a way of pulling that apart.
Sure, yeah. Life gets in the way of doing stuff that you like to do.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Donnie. Well, what's on the what's on the slate for Trauma here? We're kind of still early in the 2015 here, so what's on the slate for the rest of the year?
Right now, rehearsals, writing new songs. We really want to, follow this album up quickly. We're, supporting this album. There've been a lot of reviews for this album, and talking to stations like yourself and some printed reviews. But the real focus right now is to audition bass players, and that'll be happening within the next 2 weeks. We're getting together and writing songs, and we'd like a new album to come out quickly.
Sure. And
don't have a timetable for that yet, but we really want to push for that. Maybe another video. We have the When I Die video out. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Neely, but it's that's out on YouTube, and gotten some good feedback on that. So it's all things that we can control right now. You can always control writing the music, and that's always the most important thing. So we're going to go through another round of this, writing, recording. Where any promoters out there interested in having Trauma play, we would love to hit the road. We've done shows around Northern California and around the Reno, Nevada area, but this is a band that all the musicians are really hungry to get out on the road.
Sure, absolutely. Well, very good, Donnie. Well, the new Trauma is called Rapture and Wrath, and you can where can people get this, Donnie?
All the usual outlets: Barnes and Noble, Amazon, iTunes. Depending on where you're from, it's distributed worldwide by Soul Food Records, which is a big distributor. There's just page after page of outlets and places that one can obtain the album online. We had a special limited series of vinyl albums, but they sold out within a week. So maybe there'll be some resales there. But yeah, just for your listeners, just Google Trauma, Rapture, and Wrath, and there are just limitless outlets with quite a different price range.
Sure, absolutely. All right. Well, go visit Trauma over there at their website at traumametal.com. And they've got a Facebook page and they've got a Reverb Nation page. So go over to reverbnation.com/trauma metal and drop them a note. Let them know you heard them here on the Classic Metal Show and go pick up the new CD, Rapture and Wrath. Well, is that going to do it, Donnie? You got anything left?
Oh, no. Thank you so much for covering all that, Neely, and I really appreciate you having me on your show. And, yeah, it's been great talking to you.
All right, man. Well, you know, Donnie, we always let the artist pick the closing song from the interview off the new disc, and maybe tell us a quick story about it.
Okay. Well, let's see. How about Kingdom Come? Kingdom Come is one of the heavier cuts. And it's a little political in nature. It's kind of a poke at the people behind the 9/11 catastrophe and people who try to tell others what to believe in and how to worship or how they live their lives. I'm not a especially religious person, but I think everybody needs to be tolerant of others' beliefs. So that's a lot of what Kingdom Come is about.
Excellent. All right. Well, here it is. This is brand new Trauma from the Rapture and Wrath release, and this is Kingdom Come, exclusively here on your Classic Metal Show.